Patrice Bergeron has officially announced his retirement from the NHL. After contemplating last offseason, he decided to play one more year and played his final year, which was the best regular season of all time with the Boston Bruins. One of the greatest NHL Bruin players to put on a jersey, an official record of 6 Selke trophies, a Stanley Cup, 2 Olympic gold medals, and, the list goes on. The NHLPA here said it best. Congratulations, Patrice Bergeron, on an amazing NHL career, international hockey career in general, playing 1,294 games with one team, and that team being an original 6 team, and being one of the best players in franchise history. That's something to say. He's been getting praise from players, coaches, staff, everybody around the league and everywhere else. One hell of a player is the best way to put him. What do you think about his retirement? I mean, long overdue and such a great career.
Yeah, congrats to him. Obviously, a hell of a career. I mean, he was one of the most likable players. I mean, coming from a Habs fan, I mean, I always rooted for him a little bit. Even I technically wasn't really supposed to, but I did, and I know a lot of people that absolutely love watching him play, and I got all praise for him.
Yeah, he's one of those players, like you said, that you can't hate. He had an insane career. You see, I'll pull up the stats here now. You can see, like I said, 1,294 games, just cracked 1,000 points, not even being an offensive player, which is incredible. Some amazing years to say with Boston. Like I said as well, the most Selkes in NHL history, as well as, like, you can see the King Clancy Award, Mark Messier Leadership Award, but the Selkes were his deal. He was one crazy good defensive forward, but. Yeah, I want to say one little memory that reminds me, that I keep on remembering whenever I hear Patrice Bergeron's name, is in the 2013 playoffs when he played with, how many was it, probably 6 broken bones and pretty much every limb of his body. That was just, after coming out of the playoffs and hearing that's what he was playing through, he had my respect ever since. He did before as well, but that especially, that was just like the definition of a hockey player, is what he did in that playoffs.
It goes to show just his commitment and his resilience, right? I mean, and just represents him as a player as a whole.
Yeah, and it's like, you kind of had the sense this year in the playoffs when he missed those first few games against Florida that it was going to be the end of his career regardless of what happened after the season, After seeing what he did in the 2013 playoffs, now obviously that was 10 years ago and he was a much younger player then. It still is not like Patrice Bergeron to miss a game due to an injury, unless it was a serious matter, which, it is at that age especially. He does want to put it all on the line, but you can't risk too much for after hockey, That's not what that's about. So he made the right choice. But want to go over one last little, part of his career that was really, really stunning as well. The Triple Gold Club. He was part of that. Stanley Cup. A gold medal at the Olympics, and a gold medal at the World Championships. Obviously playing on a Canada team, but he was part of the core of all of those teams in whatever he played, joining Sidney Crosby, Corey Perry, Eric Stahl, and Jonathan Toews in that company. Now, it's obviously some incredible company there as well, and I'm sure Patrice Bergeron will be a Hall of Famer as soon as he's available to go. First ballot, no question, that's where he'll be going as soon as he can. And it's going to be it's a sad day watching him retire, but it's going to come with everybody at every stage of whatever you're doing, hockey, regular work, anything. So it's going to happen. We know that, but just kind of you can hit it in the feels. This also does impact the Boston Bruins a lot, though. Not about just Bergeron, but the whole team now. They made a lot of moves this offseason that probably weren't ideal for the team. Losing guys. Well, now they have Bergeron. Krejci's going to be gone. Like, I think did he already announce his retirement?
I'm not sure if it's official, but I think it's best to assume.
You kind of assume that since Bergeron came back, Krejci to come on one last hurrah. And, Tyler Bertuzzi, Dmitry Orlov, Garnet Hathaway. I'm definitely missing someone. Taylor Hall, all those guys gone this year. That's a huge loss from what they've had last year. Like, that's a major, major loss. So I do expect a very big dip in the Boston Bruins' standings, their points this year. But no, what do you think about this whole loss, including the Bergeron one now that's actually official?
I guess I'll state the obvious. The center depth is pretty glaring to me. I think their first 2 centers are now Pavel Zacha and Charlie Coyle.
Yeah.
And I'm not discrediting two of those guys by no means, but with Krejci and Bergeron going, whoever replaced them, they were going to have massive shoes to fill regardless. But I don't know. I don't think that's really good enough, And maybe Pavel Zacha playing with guys that's just like whatever lines, projected lines.
Yeah.
But maybe Pavel Zacha has a decent year with Pastrnak and Marchand on his wing, but that's not a contending team with two of those guys at center.
No, not at all. I think last year as well, getting the guys that they did at the trade deadline and beforehand, they knew that it was going to be their final, last dance, I would say. Yeah, they almost had the hint, I guess you could say, with going out and acquiring as much as they could in that time. But like you said, if that's not a contending forward core at all, not compared to what they had last year. The defense didn't change too much, added Kevin Shattenkirk, which I guess in replacement of a Dmitry Orlov, you could say is not like what you'd want, but Kevin Shattenkirk has been there, done that. He's a veteran, so he will fit the role that the Boston Bruins are looking for just to add to this defense.
Yeah.
But on the topic of Pavel Zacha as well, I'm a fan of Zacha. He's a good player. I'd like to see him take a step up. I think he got some big shoes to fill from a career like Bergeron or Krejci, regardless of where he plays. But it'll be a true test of what you think he can do this year as well. Goalies stay the same for now. Jeremy Swayman currently in RFA, but Linus Ullmark got 2 years left still. Don't know what's going to happen on that situation. We don't know the contract for Swayman yet. Thinking Ullmark might get moved as well, maybe, perhaps. That's been on the bit of a subject lately as well, giving Swayman that starting role finally.
On that as well.
Yeah, and so
I don't think Ullmark's going to be the same caliber goalie.
Even if he's still a very good goalie, which I do expect him to be, not going to be close to next year. Don't have any hope with that because he just played incredible last year, and that's not saying he's a bad goalie at all. That's just saying that playing that good in 2 years, you could see the exhaustion coming throughout the year at the end of the season last year, especially in the playoffs. And he had an injury as well, but still, that's not going to be the same next year. It's not going to be. I don't think anybody expects it to be. So that's just another take or hit to the Boston team right now that they're going to have for next year. Defense, offense, and the goalies. It's just taking a big step down for all three.
You did state Swayman was an RFA, right? I think you said he was. Yeah. They have two really, really good goalies there. Yeah, and we just talked about how Ullmark is probably going to take a step down, and you have Swayman as an RFA. Maybe they look to trade Swayman. I think he's younger. He probably could command a little bit more value. I think, and we just talked about the depth they have up on forward. Maybe they go out and acquire a couple guys to help out with depth. They went out and, like you said, they got guys like Garnet Hathaway. Guys that are the Boston Bruin, the role of a Boston Bruin. Like that they fit the bill. I'm not sure what their exact cap crunch is.
Right now it's $5 million without the RFA signing of Jeremy Swayman and Trent Frederick.
Okay. So maybe, they have a little bit of wiggle room there. Maybe they go out and get a couple, middle six guys to help out. But I really think they're going to move a goalie, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, I do agree with you as well. But I think it might be Linus Ullmark, mainly because he's coming off such a high and that many teams will be looking for someone like that with only 2 years left rather than being able to sign Swayman for a long time and be younger. Many teams, I think, will be looking for, Connor Hellebuck's in the market right now. A lot of teams are looking at Connor Hellebuck, but he's going to be wanting a lot of money. So I think that Linus Ullmark might be a cheaper option in that situation. And that way you can keep Swayman. Maybe they decide to go to rebuild. Maybe they decide to kind of assemble something together just to see if they can squeak into the playoffs. Because I don't think it will be a landslide at all if they get into the playoffs at all.
I also think another factor is, they just signed Pastrnak to that absolutely lucrative contract, and I know they have Marchand on. I'm not sure how long his contract is.
I think it's 2 years left at 6.1.
2 years. So, and you said Ullmark also has 2 years left at 5 or 4. I can't remember his exact contract. Maybe that might be a coincidence. Maybe they kind of might, after those 2 years are gone, they might rebuild. They might try to figure something out. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see whatever they do between the pipes.
It's going to be, for the whole team, I would say, interesting to see what they do. Because I kind of have two options. Marchand's getting older as well. Got to say that as well, just before we clock this one out. He's 35, so, that timeline is also running down, but I think it took a big hit from last year to be sure. But there's going to be a lot of stuff I think that they're going to do before the season starts, because I don't think they can go into the season with this lineup they have right now without making a change here or there. So we'll see what happens for the rest of the offseason, heading into the preseason, then into the regular season. But that's all we have for this video. If you did like it, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure to like the video. It means a lot to us. Also, make sure lets us know that you like the content. So if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching. Hope you had a great day, and see you later.